time with me, so we'll be diligent of that. Good evening, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Sherry Donovan, and with me this evening is Tamara Barker-Watson. She's our president of the Nova Scotia Home Builders and also the owner of a 20-year new home construction company in Halifax. So thank you for our invitation to appear. The issue today is of great importance for us in the Atlantic provinces, which is where we'll settle most of our presentation on this evening. We'll be talking about the impact the new mortgage rules stress test is having on the Eastern Canadian economy in terms of how it affects home ownership for young people and the impact it will also have on seniors. We also feel that having one set of rules for the entire country is not the best solution when it relates to housing. We understand that this is about mitigating risk on a large scale across the country. However, what has been achieved is that through this mitigation of risk, there has been cause for great concern about the stress test and the impact these changes will have on the regional residential construction industries that are in decline in the Atlantic provinces. We are still in deep recovery mode from the weak economy, and this is being done at a time when we just cannot afford to have it happen. And in actuality, these new mortgage rules are exacerbating the problem by hurting the entire economy. For example, from an economic standpoint, in Halifax, we went from over 1,000 new single-detached housing starts in 2009 to as few as only 400 last year, and these starts in Nova Scotia continue to remain below the 10-year trend of 900 units according to CMHC. Further to these declining numbers in Halifax, this same situation can be felt all across Atlantic Canada, and when you couple it with the new mortgage rules, this is significant. One testimonial I feel is important to share is from a mortgage lender in Newfoundland. Only a week after the federal announcement, they shared that they would see an even further decline, and they estimate that 25 to 30% of the clients they had had in the past few months would have not qualified under the new guidelines. And as well, one Newfoundland builder also went from 50 home sales on average between a typical October to December season to 0 this past October to December after the new rules came into effect. This is huge. This is not a positive outcome for Atlantic Canada or the entire country. What seems to be a barrier is there are the same rules from coast to coast. We are aware that indebtedness of Canadians is a serious issue, but the unintended consequences that have spun out as a result of the new rules have created winners and losers. Atlantic Canada is coming out on the losing end of this equation. This is one of the key reasons we feel that regional rules would be a better solution for Canadians. Let's look at two specific groups in the home ownership equation: seniors and first-time homebuyers. The new mortgage rules prevent many young people from beginning asset accumulation, as many are unable to qualify for a mortgage under the new rules. In addition to the first-time homebuyers being at risk, the unintended consequence is that it will also have an impact on the seniors market. With reduced buyers seeking to purchase homes, seniors will be less able to access equity built in their homes and will create disruption in terms of their retirement or downsizing plans. This is a concern for us where the demographic of seniors is higher in Atlantic Canada than any other area in Canada. Ms. Mayor?
If we can focus our concern on first-time homebuyers, what seems to be missed is the benefit of building equity in a low interest rate environment. When interest rates are at their lowest, the biggest proportion of your monthly debt service goes towards the principal amount of that mortgage. The consequences of these new rules is restricting home ownership growth in Atlantic Canada, and also ensuring that when people do buy in the future, they are paying much higher interest rates. My example as a builder and a real estate agent in Nova Scotia, the impact it's had on my business is huge. The Friday before the new home mortgage rules were introduced, I met with a young couple who were going to put an offer in on one of my new energy-efficient homes in Bedford. They were excited about buying their first home. But when we met on Monday, they no longer qualified. The result? They chose to sign up and rent for another year and bought a new car instead. They are not even sure that under the new rules they'll be able to make home ownership a reality in the next several years. This not only impacted the young couple, but also my business. The loss of revenue from the sales impacts how we move forward as a company in the future. If this trend continues, we will continue to lay off employees and can no longer afford our subs. This is not good for an already slow economy. If you're going to put more restrictions on young people taking on debt from buying a home, why not restrict them from buying a depreciating value like a car and create a forced savings plan for them so they will actually be able to save money for their new home? I also want to draw attention to a statement we made in the Globe and Mail in regards to this issue, that if first-time homebuyers default on their ability to pay their mortgage at the same rate as the general public, which is less than 1%, then the government has decided to protect young people from themselves is more important than giving the remaining 99% a chance at home ownership, which represents the largest percentage of household asset wealth in this country. This will limit access to new home ownership and the benefits that come with it. We appreciate the opportunity of being here today, and we advise you to take action on our recommendation for regional housing rules. And we have lost so many builders and potential homebuyers in the last few months in Atlantic Canada that it's staggering. Thank you.
Thank you all. So